that. We just haven't got enough good players.
Brilliant. So you've moved from slagging off the coaching and the union to now slagging off the blokes that are in the Coliseum.
No, they're trying their best,
and you've
Joe.
gone. Yeah, they're trying their best, but not good enough for Mike, apparently.
Yeah, well, no, not good enough. They're good enough for me, and I support them, but they're not good enough to win. Is the point?
Oh right, yeah. Forever back.
When you've got to go and prop against Adam Jones, right?
Yeah. Oh God.
And you got your ass kicked, but he's the bloke's one of the best scrummagers who ever played the game.
Yeah, just the once, though. Just the once. I mean, it was a big one to
But look at the difference he made. They bring me before the Ireland game.
Yeah,
we got our asses kicked the first 3 games in the scrum. They bring Adam in, and we're getting scrum penalties in the first half.
Yeah, mate. I'm texting him. He's back and forth. I'm like, "How you doing? How you doing? How you finding it?" He said, "I'm loving it, mate. It's great." And I said, look, I'm sorry to hear you're losing a lot. I don't, as a mate, I'm sorry that you're going through that. But the scrum's going well." Yeah. He was like,
"Well, do you think that as props?"
He's like, "Yeah, it's great. This is great. I'll keep it going."
Well, yeah, he told a lovely story, pal, when he lost his mum.
Oh yeah.
And he was sharing a room with you. He's a big fan of yours. I spoke to him quite a bit lately, and he said he was just crying. He broke down. And he said he'd been crying on your shoulder for a good few minutes, and then he said, "Do you want to put some clothes on?"
we were rooming together in a pre-season tour with Quins in San Francisco, and he'd got a call early doors with the news about his mum. And I was asleep, and I woke up to hearing him crying, and I was like, "Fuck! Like, just what's going on? Like, are you all right, mate? Like, thingy." And then he told me what had happened, and I jumped out of bed, went over, like, cuddled him, really put my arms around him and that lot, and just held him for a bit, and just did what you do instinctively, don't you? You just jump in here. "Oh, mate, come here, have a cooch." And then it sort of dawned on him, and I think there was a little crack of light in the curtains that started to come through, because it was early hours, but it started to lighten up a bit. And then he realised, he was like, "Oh, no, but do you mind putting some clothes on now?" The emotional bit, the actual cry and the tears, it sort of dried up a bit. When we all have a cry up,
yeah,
and you feel better, like the weight go, and you're like, right, okay. And then it sort of realised, and he was like, "This, I've got you hugging me with your dangling out." I was like, "Enough."
Literally the last thing I need right now.
Can we change this up a little bit? Thank you for the effort, but just put some clothes on, man. I was like, "All right, you ungrateful sod."
That's such a nice thing to do, though, mate.
I love him, mate. He's a hero, mate. He was an icon,
such a nice bloke,
and an idol growing up, and to then go against him in 2013. And I actually took my arse being handed to me several times as a bit of, not a badge of honour, but like an achievement. I was like, "Oh my God, I got dominated by Adam Jones. This is great. Put that on my gravestone."
Did you learn from it though?
I did, yeah, I did. I learned that rugby wasn't for me, and that I should come up with ways to milk this for as long as I can. And from then, I set out on a mission to find as much blackmail material as I could against every head coach that I was going to come up against, for them to then just pick me, regardless of my ability, because I'd be able to leak it out. But in all seriousness, I did that moment in 2013 where you go from the prospect as a 22-year-old prop, never played in Cardiff before.
What a cauldron, mate.
Yeah, you're on. But not realising, do you know what I mean? Not realising what that is going to be. So I was this peak, arrogant English that was like, "Oh, brilliant, let's just go and win I'm going to get to win a Grand Slam. This is amazing." Adam and Jamie and all that lot have won loads before, and the England team in 2003, and you dream of like, being part of this Grand Slam winning squad. And then 44 minutes later, you go, "Well, I'm never going to play rugby again. I can't show my face anywhere in the country of my birth. I think I'd be able to show my face in Wales every day of the week because they'd just be loving it. They'd be like, thank you. Hey, Joe, thank you very much. You know, we didn't expect that championship, but fucking because of you nailed it for us. Here's a pint.
I thought it was down to you that lost, mate. I mean, there's a squad, isn't it?
Yeah, no, it was. Yeah, it was everyone else's fault. It was. It had cool to do with me. You know, if anything, Bon was cheating.
I've had a cut with you, and I've talked about on this podcast what a magnificent sensation it was to feel utterly helpless, right?
Wow.
Because you are a very deep, very wide, very strong bloke.
Oh.
And you're considerably. I mean, Bon is. Don't get me wrong. He's a strong bloke, but you're big, right?
Okay.
You're big, Joe.
Meaty is the word Mike has used.
Meaty.
So how much of propping, especially, is technique at scrum time?
Well, it has changed a lot. Like prior to even in the prior to 2013, when it was you had a 5 metre run up, and
Do you prefer those days?
I mean, I look back at them and I go, well, that might be a big reason to why my neck feels like it does now.
Yeah.
It was carnage. Fucking show. If people are there moaning about scrums now, you know, they actually need to look back at the 90s and early 2000s and go, you need some gratitude in your life.
There's always some keyboard warriors saying, we should have scrums like the old days. So, mate, are you the one with the neck surgery?
But now it is far more technical, but it does help to be a huge unit. And I learnt from that game against Bomb, he was lean and he was big. That was sort of in his pomp, like he was coming out of it. It was his 09 to 2013 period, he says, is like, that was in his pomp. He was at his peak. And I said, what was your fighting weight then? He was like, about 125. I was like, okay. I was 22 and I was about 110 soaking wet. Like you can see looking back on it and you go, and that was a big wake up call to go, hang on, I need to eat more. Were you
110 as a
lovely wake up call to have?
Yeah, 110 doing that. And then, you know, I sit here now just as the 132.
Nice. That's big.
Yeah, well, I'm 130, mate, and I wear it badly.
There's no fucking way you're 130, Mike.
Are you 130?
I'll get on the scales right now.
Yeah,
I don't want you to.
can get on them, mate, because they're going to say 145.
You fucking idiot. Yeah.
No, I did. I also learned, not just from propping, but that to go as low as I did in that game, to be like owned as much as dark as it was in a professional capacity, it then made the good times even better. It made me appreciate them even more. So when we actually did do well in 2016, after you lot did us again in 2015, that moment you can actually savour it more, knowing that you've been through the shit, rather than, you know, there's a lot of kids that you go, they win everything from the off. They don't experience it, and then they sort of take it for granted a bit. I'm like, wait until you you go to cut. And that's what I'm a little bit worried about this weekend. You guys in 16 games losses, going down there.
Well, in Sherratt's last game, they'll want to put a big performance in. And I know that you do every game, but
is it his last game?
Well, I said this. You know, when he took the job, I said if he gets two good results, I don't mean wins, no, two good performances, and then he gets a result against England, you'll have to be in the mix for the job.
Who else are you looking at?
I would like. Well, people have come up. What?
People have come up to you and said, "Mike, will you do it?"
Come on. We need
I'll do
you.
it.
Your country needs you, Mike.
I'll do it.
Yeah.
I think Czech is a bad fit for Wales and the players we've got at the moment. I'd love to see someone like Pat Lamb. I can't see him leaving Bristol.
Not on a 10-year contract. That's $500,000 a year.
And we can't afford to buy it out, and they wouldn't want to do it anyway. So it's hard, isn't it? I don't know. I don't.
Wow.
Used to be. I don't know.
We come to you for insight, Mike.
Yeah, come on, Mike.
Yeah, well, they've got no answers, Joe, because the money, it's a money thing, isn't it? I'd like to be able to say we'll buy Pat Lam out of his contract in Bristol, but that's not going to happen.
No, why don't you just keep Matt then and keep Bomb there? Who else is on the staff?
I'd love to keep Matt there, but I think he said he doesn't. Well, I know this is negotiating, but he said he's going to go back to Cardiff. He's doing a great job at Cardiff, right? I love Cardiff Rugby Club, so I'd love to keep Sherratt there. If it was up to me, if they can make that work.
What if Eddie Jones became available? Ooh.
You tell us, Joe.
Yeah,
I think I would love it. I would.
Of course you would. Of course you would.
I'm going to start a petition. Get Eddie the job in Wales immediately, if not sooner.
With you being arrogant before the game in 2013, sorry, very odd. Not one of my finest links, actually.
There was a pause after
great
arrogant.
phraseology there, mate.
When you played, at the end of your career, when they were young, when you were playing alongside much younger players, and they might have had that arrogance, did you ever take them to one side and say, listen, I'd probably wind your neck in a little bit because this happened to me in 2013? Or do you just have to let them learn for themselves and get on with it?
No, there's no way I spoke to anyone under 30. No, I was not interested in that. No, f*** off. No, I did. Well, they sort of reluctantly would come up to me and Coley and the older lot and Danny Kerr and be like, is it okay to sit here, first of all?
No.
I'd be like, yeah, go on, what? And then they'd ask about the experiences. And so they're a good bunch, this young lot. They actually want the answers. They want to hear about the experiences. There's not a huge amount of... they've got a lot of confidence, but they've not got a lot of arrogance. Do you know what I mean? They actually do want to hear from us because they want to win. They're desperate to win. They're not like us old guys that just wanted to turn up for the paycheck.
How much for a win? I